your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
It is, it's Wednesday, the day the work gets done. Is this technically day 3 of Cowboy coach search, or is it like week 8, week 10, week 11? Is it
day 3? He wasn't fired till Monday.
Okay.
Or
and up until then, I thought he was going to be still there. So
I did too, especially after they denied him the ability to interview with Chicago. Do you think, I heard Rob Rowe talking about this the other day on I think End of the Bench on 100.7 The Score. Do you think McCarthy walked away, or because he didn't like the negotiations? Do you think it was his decision at the end, where he just didn't like how it was going and just maybe got fed up with the whole deal and said, "Okay, guys, I'm out. We can't come to an agreement here. Maybe you want to give me 2 years and I want 5, or you want to give me 3 and I want 4, or you want me to not call the plays or something." And McCarthy just said, "Peace out. I'm out," as opposed to Jerry making the decision that they weren't going to move forward.
No, I think Jerry made the decision.
Okay.
I hope he did use the term "peace out," though. Peace out, Boy Scout is what I really prefer.
How long do you think it will take the brain trust there at the Star to make a decision?
Man, Chuck asking me to predict what Jerry Jones is going to do.
I just want to know how long it's going to take him. Is it?
I would assume that by
the weekend?
By Monday, they'll have a head coach.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. There's a bunch of coaches they can't talk to at all that they may want to talk to. This could be a 3-week extravaganza.
Whether it's coordinators or head coaches, right?
Totally fair, Jeff.
Yeah.
So,
good point.
And had they made the announcement last week, they could have talked to those guys because they were on the bye week. Instead, you dragged your feet. Everybody else got to talk to them. They got the opportunity to figure out if those guys are the guy they want to hire or not. Meanwhile, you're still flapping in the wind. This is what we call a great plan.
Well, the Hall of Fame quarterback Troy Aikman said there was no plan. I'm kind of more inclined to believe him.
Well, there shouldn't have been if Jerry thought that he was going to stay. I mean, you would have guessed that they were moving forward towards that and not really. I know everybody's supposed to always have a list in their desk drawer and an envelope or whatever. But this was a situation where it felt like, you just listen to all the experts that surrounded the Cowboys program, and they all felt like he was coming back, and that's what the people within the organization said was going to happen.
Do you have a list in your desk drawer?
I don't have it in my desk drawer.
Okay. Oh, hermetically sealed in a.
If you can be hermetically sealed in my head.
Mm-hmm. Oh, in your head.
Yeah,
okay.
And I feel like that's pretty. That can be sealed.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that I don't share.
Yeah, no, you're really good about that. You're
just keep to myself.
You are really good about that. I am terrible about that. You know, I am terrible about being able to just keep my comments to myself, or just keep my opinions to myself and things along those lines.
But that makes you more of an entertaining person.
Okay.
And definitely talk show host.
An oversharer. This ESPN article predicts Kellen Moore as the next Cowboys head coach.
I think there's probably a good chance of that. You've heard his name thrown about when it comes to these coaching open vacancies, and it feels like that Jerry was a big fan of his back in the day. The thing that I just don't understand, I mean, so he leaves the Cowboys. He goes to the Chargers. They're not good. He goes to the Eagles. Obviously, the Eagles are a very good football team. But why are the Eagles a very good football team?
The defense.
Their defense. I mean, offensively, they have all the tools. And their offense is very mediocre.
Yeah.
And so I don't think he's doing a great job with that Eagles offense at all. And so I don't know why he's a hot candidate at all. I don't understand that.
Yeah. Off of this list, who would be the most successful? Lincoln Riley, Steve Sarkisian, Marcus Freeman, Matt Campbell, Deion Sanders.
I told you, and I'm not saying this as a joke. I don't think that the Deion thing would be a joke. I think that Deion could do it. I think he would have some level of success. Give me the two college guys. I think they're both great coaches. So
Freeman or Sarkisian?
Or Sark, yeah. I think they're both very good coaches. So
what about Lincoln Riley or?
I wouldn't be in favor of that if I was a Cowboys fan.
What about Lane Kiffin?
Seems like Lincoln's had huge advantages wherever he's been, and it's been pretty meh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who's the other one?
Lane Kiffin.
Man. They're just trying to set Chuck up for like the drama of coaching that you would just love to talk about, aren't they? That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting.
Do you? I feel like that.
I don't know that I think he'd do a great job, but I don't know. Maybe he would.
The other person that's being bandied about is Jason Witten.
Yeah, so what has Witten been doing? Where's he been coaching?
He's been like a high school coach, helping his kids, like a private school. I mean,
feels like a big jump.
Yeah, it feels like as big a jump as going from tight end of the Cowboys to the Monday Night Football booth. I mean,
feels like a much bigger jump.
Okay, well,
Jason Witten just didn't fit.
Okay, and
gosh, I had forgotten all about that. And then he went back to playing after that. Am I remembering that right?
No, he did not.
No, he didn't go back to playing.
Yeah, he went to the high school coaching deal.
What a crazy thing that was.
Yeah, it just didn't. It just didn't work.
Didn't fit.
It did not fit.
Some people don't love talking all the time.
I know, which is it's amazing that you give us your thoughts 5 hours a day.
Happy to do so.
Happy to do so. Okay.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Chuck Heinz was a very happy boy today.
Okay.
Basketball rules first published in Triangle Magazine, written by James Naismith.
Published. Okay.
So, 1892, Triangle Magazine prints the basketball rules, and it took until the 90s to get the triangle offense. Like 100 years to figure out, hey, that triangle might work. We should keep doing that, even though it's in our magazine title.
Okay.
I don't know. Questions you ask. 1957, Brooklyn Dodgers extend their 5-year lease at Ebbets Field by signing a new 3-year lease with real estate developer Marvin Carter. They moved to Los Angeles the next year. 1967, Super Bowl I. L.A. Memorial Coliseum, Los Angeles, California. Green Bay Packers beat the Kansas City Chiefs 35-10. Bart Starr, your MVP. 1990, in a shrewd move.
Shrewd.
The Detroit Tigers signed first baseman Cecil Fielder, who spent the previous season in Japan. He did all right. He hit 50 home runs that season and became a premier power hitter for most of the 90s.
I think it was Cecil, wasn't it?
Yes, it was Cecil Fielder.
Can you go by Cecil?
Cecil Fielder, yeah.
I always thought it was Cecil.
Yeah, Cecil Cooper, Cecil Fielder.
I couldn't remember which was which.
Huh. And on this day in 2014, Jay Crockett had 19 points. Todrick Gocher added 17. And the Red Raiders knocked off number 12 Baylor 82-72 for their first Big 12 win of the season.
How about that?
It is National Freshly Squeezed Juice Day. and Strawberry Ice Cream Day.
If you had your choice of freshly squeezed juice, what would it be?
Orange.
Orange, Jeff?
Lemon or lime in a cocktail.
Grapefruit for me.
Chuck missed the joke.
No, I got it.
Happy birthday to Pitbull, who turns 44. Drew Brees is 46. Dabo Samuel is 29. Shane McMahon, 55. Randy White, 72. Matt Holliday, 45. And Delino DeShields is 56.
Feels like Randy White should be older than, what did you say, 70?
72.
Yeah, it feels like he should be older than 72.
You know, yeah, like 78 area is where I would have guessed. And on this day, one of my favorite television shows of all time, and a show that when everybody asks, if anybody ever asks me what show should they remake next, since, we can't come up with new and original ideas, this is the show immediately jumps to mind. On this day, 1981, Hill Street Blues, television's landmark cops and robbers drama, debuts on NBC. When the series first appeared, the police show had largely been given up for dead. Critics savaged, stodgy, and moralistic melodramas of the time with regards to both two cops being focused on. They always solved the case. It was always done in 30 minutes or in an hour and whatever it was. Hill Street Blues kind of flipped all of that and showed that cops could be fallible and that it took more than one episode to solve a crime, and it wasn't just focused on two guys, and it wasn't funny. It was dirty, and it was nasty. And it's what led to shows like NYPD Blue and others having success later, because Hill Street Blues started on this day, 1981.
The lead woman in that, she was smoking.
Yeah, Wonder Woman will do that to you.
She was smoking.
Counselor. And that is this day in sports history.
All right. Hey, congratulations to Estacado coach Tony Wagner. His basketball team won last night as Estacado was a winner over Liberty Cooper last night. But for Coach Wagner, it was his 500th win.
Nice. Yeah. Very cool.
72-46 over Liberty last night for Estacado. So congratulations to Tony Wagner as his team won over Liberty. Also winning last night was Friendship. They defeated Midland. You heard that game last night on Sunny 97.7, 72-18. Man. Lubbock Cooper beat Coronado 74-63. Those among the games. Monterey, a winner over Caprock, 71-55 on the boys' side. On the girls' side, Friendship won 65-26. Man, got a little leaky there, didn't you?
I had it at 65-24. I don't know where these other 2 points are coming from.
Okay. Seriously?
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
But no, I did. Yes,
You really had it at 24?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm joking about that. I could have been wrong.
83-28. Well, I'll just tell you this: my Lady Raider broadcast partner, he keeps his stats, and there have been a number of times over the years where I've said, "Hey, they've got so and so down for 9." Nope, it's 8. Like, okay, it's right here. I mean, they got 17 people looking at it. Nope, it's 9. And then sure doggone enough, time after time after time.
He's much smarter guy than I am,
he's on it. He's on it. Monterey was a winner last night, 83-28 over Caprock. Those among the games last night. And then the Estacado girls also a winner last night. They defeated the Liberty girls 47-37. Okay. And then Lubbock Cooper a win last night, 44-42. Okay. So the Lady Pirates with a win over the Mustangs last night.
Right.
Okay. There you go. So that's a little bit of a recap there for some high school sports. 6:52 this morning here on the morning drive. Randy White was a beast and nickname was the Manster. Y'all may not know this, but Randy White was a big team roping enthusiast later in life. That from Cowboy Cody.
I think I remember him being involved in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he was a beast.
Let's see. Witten could work. Get Witten 2-3 veteran coordinators. That could really work. That from Robert.
Yeah, maybe so. It would definitely be. You would need some veteran guys around him. Veteran coaches.
Somebody says this: the Octagon of Doom was indeed quiet. No advantage. I didn't get to hear any limited audio last night, but I'll just say this: it looked like an arena that wasn't very full. The students don't get back until next week. So, but also when your basketball team's not playing very well and you got 15 inches of snow on the ground and it's cold, your desire to go through that whole process probably is diminished.
That may be so.
It's diminished. So, but still, I would have thought that there'd been more people there last night than what it appeared. Did it sound like it was?
At times, listening on the radio, it sounded like they were loud, but there wasn't that much of that just because they didn't play well.
Yeah, wasn't like a whole lot of.
They had a run, right? It feels like it was late in the half that kind of felt like the Red Raiders had a lead and were in control, and then all of a sudden that was gone, and then by the time you went on that, I believe it was 13-0 run in the second half with, somewhere around 12 or 13 minutes left, kind of got quiet after that.
Let's see. The run was 13, and it was the 12:36 mark of the second half. So it's spot on, right down there to the second. Okay. Were you a Hill Street Blues fan?
No.
Okay. I liked it. I thought it was. I liked it.
Good.
Yeah, it was a good little show. Hey! Be careful out there.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
7:15 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Good morning with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Our resident contributor to the Morning Drive, Choice Woodman, says this: Housen was at Nova for 2 years, played against Tech with them. Tech was heavily in the mix, but it was in the Adams era. Went to K-State for money. Okay. For money.
I just love.
We just throw that around like, hey, what for money? Yeah.
I love the last line from Choice. Please forgive me, but what college basketball player is not going places for money now?
Yeah, right.
That's different than any other college basketball player right now.
Right. Do your job. You get paid for it. Do what you get paid for, right, Rick Barnes?
And it's not illegal, so it's
nobody's worried about it.
No, I'm not being critical of them.
No, you're not at all. Not at all.
It's like saying, well, Chuck goes to that restaurant because the food's good. Well, yeah.
Sure. Would you like a...
Let's be honest. Chuck goes to that restaurant because there's somebody at the restaurant he wants to talk to.
There's big timers there.
If the food is good, that's a bonus.
People a little higher on the ladder.
Would you like an example of me asking a question that you probably wouldn't ask just because I was, one, curious, and one, I couldn't help myself?
Was it in a press conference setting?
No.
For the good of everybody else, yes, I want to hear this question.
Okay. So,
man.
During our stranded time in Manhattan, it snowed 15 inches and got stuck there. The bus driver, I questioned his courage, just in his ability to drive on ice, which, okay, I get it, but I questioned his courage. We finally summed it up and got down the hill. But they had a problem. He had a problem with the bus because he didn't keep the bus running overnight and the fuel froze in the tank, which I think that, he said, because I asked him, I go, you didn't keep it running? He goes, well, I went out and started it up, throughout the night, but it still froze because it was like -4.
Wouldn't you, if you ran the bus all night, just run it out of gas?
Well, no, because it's. They got those are big tanks. They put on idle. They're diesel engines. They can. That's I thought pretty common practice. If it's going to be -4, hey, your fuel might freeze. Because there's water in your fuel. So It was minus 3 or 4 yesterday when I got up.
I was throwing so many flags.
It's actually really bad if there's water in diesel fuel. If there's
Whatever.
a light
Okay.
on
Well, the
there's a
1%er.
diesel vehicle.
So many flags.
1%.
Acting like he knows what to do. I mean, the attitude and doubting of the bus driver. I mean, lower guy on the totem pole.
So anyway,
We can
he was a
attack
really nice fella. He
Yeah.
was a really nice fella. He had a Texas Tech cap on because he was the same bus driver that Tech football had when they went up there and won. And I think Coach McGuire gave him a ball cap. Anyway, the bottom line was yesterday we go to the arena for a little shoot around, and I was like, oh hey, the bus starts. I guess fuel didn't freeze, but I didn't say anything, And so then going back, I said, hey, I saw him kind of idling around. I go, hey, the fuel didn't freeze in the bus, or you kept the bus warm? He goes, yeah, I kept it going all night long. I said, okay, good. Then the fuel won't freeze. Yeah, that's what we do. I'm like, okay. So like, smarter guy, smarter bus driver.
Smarter bus driver in Iowa compared to Kansas.
Than the guy in Manhattan.
So what do we know about people from Kansas, Jeff?
No, they're stupid.
I didn't say that. So the Iowans are smarter than the Kansans.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, okay.
Probably so.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy was pretty smart. I enjoyed him. He was a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was really nice. He was,
According to the interwebs,
okay.
did not know this before I looked this up. Diesel fuel starts to freeze at 32 degrees. Now, it doesn't actually freeze, it gels, which gums up the workings of the motor.
Yeah.
So that's what prevents it from running.
Yeah.
Now, in general, when it really starts to be a big problem is when it's 15 degrees.
All I know is we had a different bus when we left than what we arrived with because the fuel was still frozen. And
Could
they had
happen to be the fact it was like 4 days later.
Mechanic working on it.
And it was, a 15-inch snowstorm.
Right.
It's bus drivers.
Did not realize diesel would feel that
No
low.
courage.
I didn't realize it would freeze
to
that
be
low.
driving on the ice.
Well, I mean, at some point, we were going to have to go down this hill. It's like, hey, at some point in time, we can't just sit here all night. We cannot sit here all night. We've got to go down this hill. And finally we did, after they put some salt down. Not that the salt was going to help you immediately, but it maybe made him feel better because it had some crunchiness between the pavement and the wheels. Robert says Chuck wants reheated food. I like the food hot. Sometimes I like it cold. Which Kansas State player was it that supposedly got $2 million to come there, to go there? I didn't see any of their players that was worth that much. Tech played down at K-State levels last night. You buy into that? Or was it maybe just one of those ugly games? You didn't feel like they played down to their level, did you?
I think you're a better team than them. I don't think that your offense was clicking on all cylinders, so to speak. I think something that partly had to do with Toppin being under the weather. I don't think I'll disagree with that. They didn't play their best.
Yeah.
Coach McCaslin has said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's accurate. Well, how do you disagree with it?
I'm not. I'm just asking a question. I don't know.
You did. You disagreed.
Did I? Okay.
You did.
Okay.
I know it was a long time ago, but 20 seconds ago, but you did.
Well, I hate.
It was not good offensively.
I know.
I'm not complaining about it. You got to win.
I know. I hate saying that we played down to their level.
If you say that we didn't play down to their level, so you're saying that's who we are offensively?
That's not who we are.
Yeah, if you say that's who we are offensively, I don't know if we're making the tournament or not.
We didn't play to our level of capability, but we won the game, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Man, who knew so many people had so many opinions on diesel buses? Sam's weighing in. You got somebody else's weighing in.
It's not
on
diesel buses; it's diesel fuel.
Globe plugs and
there are a lot of diesel engines
plug-ins. I know, but just who knew that we would have this many experts?
I'm shocked
on this?
we don't have more.
Unlike Kansas, Chuck, there are a lot of smart people all around listening to us.
And I actually just found out something else. There's two types of diesel fuel. The one that gels up or freezes in this is Type 2. Type 1 doesn't freeze as much, which is why it's actually more expensive. It doesn't gel up at all, and it's what is recommended if you're in an area where it's going to be that cold. So like 15 degrees or so, and below.
Apparently, Coleman Hawkins is the rumored $2 million man, according to one texter.
Yeah, and he was key for them when they went on that run in the second half. Tech held them to just 2 points in the first half, but I think he had. How would he end up with, Chuck? I mean, I think he had at least 12.
Yeah, he had 10 in the second half. Yeah. This Tech wins its third Big 12 road game in a row, and we're going to complain because we didn't play what we think is the best. No, nobody's complaining.
Nobody's complaining. Nobody's complaining. But if you're being honest with yourself, that was bad offense at the end of the game. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
And again, you kind of played down to what Kansas State is.
Technically speaking,
and
I think you're right.
I think you're better offensively than that final 4 minutes. And if you don't, then you don't think we're very good.
Counselor, I agree with you. Okay. And then the other thing is, I think sometimes when you win these ugly games like this, you may be a better team than what you actually think you are. Because I think sometimes when you win these ugly games, it says a lot about your team and just the ability to kind of win a game when either A, you shouldn't, or B, when anybody could, and it's not very good. So hats off to them.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Okay, so my question for you guys today, the Red Raiders have played some close games of late, which always means that, you got the one shot can make the difference between a win or a loss.
Sure.
Those are the exciting games, nerve-wracking games. I'm going to allow you to pick two guys. And a close game down the stretch. You get to pick two Red Raiders over the history of time.
Over the history of time.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to choose guys from their era. I mean,
okay.
I'm not going to speak to a Red Raider from the 70s that I never saw play.
Okay.
But whoever you want, I mean, pick two guys. Who you got two guys that are taking those shots for you down the stretch. Who you going with?
Man, down the stretch, who am I going with? Davide Moretti's name just kind of popped into my brain. That's one. Lance Hughes from way back in the day, right? Not Lance Hughes. Lance.
Yeah, that's a name.
Hughes. Yeah, Lance Hughes came into my mind.
Is there specific moments or whatever you think with those two guys that?
I just kind of like how they shot. I mean, you could put the ball in the hands of Culver or what's the other guard? The guard that you really like. What's his name?
Keenan Evans.
Keenan Evans. Yeah, thank you. I just couldn't put my thumb right there on it.
There's been a lot of them that I really liked.
Yeah,
Keenan was definitely one.
Rayford Young would be another one, maybe.
Love me some Ray.
When he got hot, he was hot. Alan Voskuhl would be another guy that you could throw out there. You're looking for a name from me. One name?
Actually, two.
Two names? Okay. two names?
Do you take the ADHD medicine?
I don't.
All those pills you take?
I don't. Do you recommend that I... Should I, do you think? Next,
again, I'll just go back to, I think when you're someone that is as knowledgeable as you are about so many things, I fear sometimes you have so much information in there that it blocks you from just the obvious
It's
stuff.
like that diesel fuel that got frozen in, or just kind of all
into sludge.
Gels together, right? It just kind of gels together. I'm going to say Davide Moretti and give me Keenan. I'll take those two.
Okay.
Andre Emmett is the first name on the list.
Yeah.
Great scorer.
And the next one on the list.
11 seconds left.
Okay, here
We're
we go.
tied.
Here we go. 9 seconds.
5. Evans. 4. Top of the circle. Evans spaces away. Throws it up. Bang! Horns down. Horns down. Horns down. 73-71 Red Raiders. Keenan Evans with the cherry on his legacy.
Yeah.
See, I stammered around and him and Hod around long enough for Jeff to come up with a big highlight there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's a reason that I asked this question now. I feel like in the last 3 games, you have needed big shots down the stretch 3 times, and you've gone to the same guy all 3 times.
Okay.
And he has come through 2 of the 3 times. Okay? He didn't on Saturday.
Okay.
But I think Darion Williams is one of the most clutch players that we've had in this program's history. I mean, down the stretch, when you need a basket, inside of a minute to go, he's the guy we constantly see Coach McCaslin call his number, and there's great reason for it, because not just because of his ability to score and be good in the clutch, but also because of his smarts and he's going to make the right pass, he's going to make the right play. And so I think Darion Williams is right there at the top of my list.
Okay.
Number 2 on my list is Keenan Evans. Okay. Or the other guy. I wouldn't say that one's higher than the other, but Keenan, he hit obviously that shot against Texas, but he was a guy that feels like in the last minute of the game just made big shot after big shot. And if you're going to allow me to have a third guy that I would say honorable mention for me, I want a guy that looks confident in that situation. A guy that believes in himself, sometimes has more confidence than he needs to have.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Who totally believes in himself. You don't want somebody that is nervous in that moment. You want somebody that wants the ball in that spot. Mac McClung was that guy. He obviously hit a big one against Texas, but that dude believed every time it was late in the game, I'm going to go win this for us.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get this done for us. That's the kind of attitude, confidence that you want in that situation.
Okay.
To parlay off kind of something that Chuck said, that's any shot that I would want Emmett or Evans to take anywhere on the field, anywhere on the court, right? If it's a free throw, I'm going Moretti every time.
Okay.
If it's a free throw to seal it, if it's a get the ball in somebody's hands because they're fouling and we know we're going to the free throw line and I need to keep points going up to keep the pressure on, I'm throwing it to Moretti and telling him to hold the ball until they hit you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chance McMillan would be a good one in that. I mean,
Yeah.
he shot like 92% from the free throw line last year.
Old timers might throw out a couple of names like Dub Malays or Delray Mounts or
those
Harold
are
Hudgens.
great scores. I have no idea how good they were in the clutch. I didn't watch
Right.
them
No, I
play.
mean, that's what I'm saying. Old timers. Old timers.
I have no idea.
It's kind of like, okay, so like kind of comparing that to our little industry here, the talk industry. Like if you needed a crazy comment with confidence going down the stretch of a show, I think Jeff and I are 2 guys that you could call on from a right-hander and a left-hander if you were going to the bullpen and you needed a crazy confident comment with not much time on the clock.
I think you guys are pretty confident in what you say, Yeah, that's probably
Not always
fair.
accurate, not always fair, but
I think Choice is also pretty confident. Choice is a guy that can turn an opinion into a black and white statement.
He's defiant at times, yeah.
And that's good for radio. That's
Right.
good, yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Do a black and white statement. Yes. No, you're wrong. Yes, right. I suffer from that disease too.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
With Jeff McGuire and Jamie Lent, I'm Chuck Heinz. Great to have you with us. We come to you from the First United Bank studio. I was doing some baseball work yesterday. Not that I'm just baseball work in terms of internal stuff. And I was thinking about you. I was like, man, it's almost here.
It's less than a month now.
I know, it's crazy, right? I mean, it's weird. I mean, it's like countdown time. It's like,
yeah, I don't know that it's crazy. I mean, it's just exciting.
I know, right? Yeah, right. I mean, it's chilly. I mean, but I'm sure he's got them working out, right? I mean, they're and then they're in their.
No, Chuck. Only the basketball team works out. The rest of the athletes on campus, we just kind of float around and show up on game day.
I guess what I wondered is, can they don't use the practice facility at all, the indoor facility at all, like for like hitting fungos or anything like that to the outfielders or stuff like that?
I think at times they have used it. I don't know how much that's the case. I really don't know. I know at times, and maybe it would be. Well, first off, right now they're still in a situation where they're only allowed to work like position groups at a time.
Okay.
They can't have full practices yet. That doesn't come until I believe like the 25th
of January.
Okay,
so
where they can have full team workouts.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's probably, I mean, they can do a little bit, of stuff indoor with the facility that they have, with the new
pitchers
locker room.
And batting and stuff like that.
Yeah. So they can do a lot of that. The fielding stuff. I mean, the weather's was nice the last 2 days. I'm sure they were out there on the field the last 2 days. I mean, was in the 50s. So
okay, yeah.
I mean, they'll play in much colder than that this year, I'm
Coach
sure.
Ted Locke be like, "What are you talking about going inside, man? We're baseball players. We're tough." Right?
I don't know if that's what he...
It's not quite like that, but it's...
I'm sure he'd prefer to be inside, too, if it was, too cold. But I'm sure they were out there the last couple of days. But, again, it's only, groups of guys and not full teams, so they're not scrimmaging at this point. And you're just hoping, when January 25th rolls around or whatever, that it gets nice enough that they can get out there and scrimmage, because playing those scrimmages and seeing live pitching and all that, it matters. I mean, you need those at bats to get your timing, and those pitchers need that practice as well. It's different just throwing to a mitt rather than throwing with a hitter standing up there. So it factors in. That's why, a lot of times, and I mean, I don't let's just say you're a situation where you don't have an indoor facility or whatever, and you have bad weather, and then you go play somewhere where the team that you're playing against has had great weather where they're at, and they have advantage because they probably had more scrimmages beforehand than you did. And that's happened to the Red Raiders before, when they go to Arlington to start the season, and meanwhile there were snowstorms here and they didn't get a lot of practicing in, and now they're playing a team from wherever, that's
Florida or whatever, California,
that's had an Auburn or whoever they've played that's had it a little bit better. So is a little bit of a factor there. But you would assume right off the bat, North Carolina's going to have, their guys are probably going to have more time in good weather than you are to begin the year. So everybody cross your fingers that from January 25th on, that you have good enough weather that the team's out there be able to get out there and get in as many reps as possible, because it does matter at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. Syntax Inc. Writes in, he says this: celebrating my 75th trip around the sun today. Like the old Timex commercials used to say, I guess I can take a licking and keep on ticking. Right. Have a great day, folks. Do you remember the Timex commercials?
Oh, yeah.
John Cameron Swayze for Timex. So far this season feels a lot like football. Lots of good things, being 3-0 on the road, but you feel like you have left a lot of meat on the bones so far, especially the 2 home conference losses.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, and both end up being close games that you feel like you had a shot. I mean, the first one was just a really, really rough first half, and then you played much better in the second half, and I mean, the loss to Iowa State, you played a really good game.
Yeah.
I mean, a really good game.
Good enough to win. Yeah,
just got squeaked out by a little bit better team that day.
A little bit better team. Somebody responds to Hank, says, "Hey, happy birthday, Hank," or rather,
happy birthday.
Happy completed the circuit. Keep on ticking. So is everyone just ignoring the women's basketball situation? Is Coach Gerlich at least feeling any heat? I'm sure she does. I mean, she's not going to talk about it, and I don't think anybody's. I'd like to think I'm not ignoring it. I mean, we've talked about why you've lost and what you need to do. I mean, I mean, defensively, like last night, I mean, you hold Iowa State to 71 points. I mean, the problem was you gave up 50 in the paint. Okay, that's a problem. But the real problem last night was you didn't make enough shots. I mean, 19. You made 19 field goals last night, and you can't win just doing that. So, I mean, in previous games, you're like 13 and 17, and you just got to figure out a way to do a better job of making shots because, going into the game last night, Iowa State had averaged 78 points a ball game. They'd averaged in Big 12 play making almost 8 threes. So, you led after one period of play. It was a 3-point game at the half. They made some adjustments. They kept pounding the ball inside to Audie Crooks. Despite your best effort to put a Chol Magad on her or Sarah Sanogo or along those lines, but really at the end of the day, you just couldn't make enough shots. I mean, and that has been a telltale problem, and I think that's been more of a problem than what they really had anticipated going in. So I'm sure everybody associated with it. Look, that was disappointing. It was a disappointing ride home last night. So is she going to survive the year? Absolutely. I mean, because look, you have to look at the fact too. I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses. But you played 3 ranked teams in a row, plus you played Iowa State on the road last night. The hardest loss so far of the 1-5 start is the one at Arizona State.
Yeah,
that's the hardest one.
Okay, so we talked earlier about turning black and white or opinions into black and white statements.
Mm-hmm.
I would guess that Krista Gerlich is going to last the year as well. But how can you be so absolutely? How can you be so confident
that she'll last the year?
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're going to.
I don't think they are either, but I wouldn't use the word absolutely.
Okay, well, I'm just going to tell you, I don't think the team's given up by any stretch of the imagination, and that's usually when you make an in-season coaching change. And I think the time that Kirby did do that with Candy Whitaker was just the team had pretty much given up, and there was just absolutely no hope.
I felt that way against West Virginia last Wednesday night. I have not felt that way the last 2 games.
I thought they responded. I mean,
yeah, the last 2 games, I thought they responded to a really, really ugly performance last Wednesday.
Yeah, and you got a shot at it on Saturday when they take on BYU. That's a 6:00 tip. The men play Arizona earlier in the day, so we'll see what happens Saturday.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.